Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Yes, as you've seen there, Umar Haruna Dogowa is the chairman of the NNPP in Kano State. He joins us from our studios right there in Kano, as you can see. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on the program here today.
Good morning, Mr. Chamberlain.
Okay, so let's start off with this new government, new party at the helm of affairs in Kano State, but it appears many seem a bit confused as to what to expect, but already the government has gone on what some have described as the demolition spree. So could you shed some light on that? What does the government intend to achieve with some of these demolitions? Because we understand more places, more buildings have been marked for such action.
Thank you for this all-important question. Let me first of all say that what we are doing is like a kind of our campaign promise. We promise to the people of Kano State that when elected into power, we are going to make sure that everything, virtually everything that was taken away from the people of Kano to be given to an individual, our government, when in power, will rebut that decision. So importantly, it is our campaign promise which we intend to implement and which made people to vote for us in the first place. Secondly, what we are doing is in line with governor's oath of office. He swore with the Holy Quran that when elected, he will do everything possible to defend the integrity, property, and everything belonging to Kano and Kanawa people. So that's exactly what he's doing. Thirdly, we have information available to us that these buildings or these properties that hitherto belong to the public were maybe illegally taken away from the public and illegally given to an individual with better interest. Fourthly, it is also morally right. If you promise something, you have to fulfill what you promise. I don't think you will agree as a governor to allow a particular property, like a hospital, which are used to attend at least 1,000 people on a daily basis, that have a turnover of attending to at least 3 million indigenous of the state, be given to somebody to just build his house. I don't think anybody, any meaningful somebody will allow this. This structure that you are seeing now is what we call Daula Hotel. When I was Commissioner for Higher Education, this place is a school. We have about 2,000 students. The name of the school is Hospitality and Tourism Institute. Somebody took it away and gave it to himself. And within that premises, I came up with 25 plots, which he sold at the cost of 50 million naira each. We have traced, we have checked to see where this money has been lodged in the government coffers. None. So if you came into power with this type of thing, I am very sure every meaningful Nigerian will also try to do the right thing. Fifthly, the Electoral Law Act empowers governor to take any decision on land. Decisions that are of importance, decisions that are helpful to the general public, not decisions that will only help an individual. Thirdly, these structures that are erected are an alteration of the initial master plan of Kano State. Let me give you an example. This Daula Hotel was a hotel during Outback origin, and it was meant specifically to be that. How can somebody then, in his wildest dream, come and turn this place to a residential area and a shopping complex and give it to himself? So these are type of things. And we have the issue of presidents. If you check in this country, even the present president, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he was governor of Lagos State, he took certain decisions on demolitions. And even Governor Erufai, when he was minister and when he was governor, he took this decision. Even Ganduje himself took decision because all this property were demolition now. Let me give you an example of Hajj camp. The Hajj camp is a place that houses 160 houses belonging to the state government with mosque, police station and everything, schools and everything. Because as at that time, during the late 60s and early 70s, the whole of West African pilgrimage used to fly out from Kano. So this was made specifically to house these pilgrims. And even after that, the Kano State government continued to use it for public uses. But now somebody came overnight, demolished his houses, divided into plot, and did it himself.
Let me ask you, Mr. Dogowa.
We met on ground, and we have to address these issues.
Okay, so I believe you know Musa Ilyasu, former Commissioner for Rural Development. So he's been making some statements, as a matter of fact, because you have referenced some government's decision previously, but he says that government properties at numbers 5, 6, 7, Bala Muhammad Way, government property at number 132 Dawaki Road, number 13, at Ali Akilu. These were all sold by Kwankwaso when it was government. He's in government, says, go and check who's occupying those premises now, then you have some answers. He also did reference government properties at number 193, 194, 196, up onto 920, all at Amadou Bello Way. They were sold by Kwankwaso, he says. And watch this, he says, the same process that Mr. Ganduje used in selling those government properties is the same that Mr. Kwankwaso, I beg your pardon, the same process that Kwankwaso used was the same that Ganduje used. So if Mr. Ganduje's version was illegal, why isn't that of Mr. Kwankwaso illegal? He says there is double standards here.
Let me tell you this. I wouldn't have answered this question if it was coming from him. Hello, can you hear me?
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, I wouldn't have answered this question if it was coming from him, because this is the third time he's contesting for an election and he's being rejected by his people. So even his people rejected him in his polling unit, in everywhere, he couldn't win in one single polling unit. So he's rejected somebody from his constituency. Having said that, let me also tell you that that's why we say that whosoever is going to be given an appointment should be very, very versatile with Western and Islamic education. If you, because somebody can talk, because somebody can say anything, if you decide to appoint anybody into any position, then you are missing off. If you are talking about public property, taken away, demolished, and given to somebody, we are talking about schools, mosques, recreation centers, places that can be used by hundreds and thousands of people. If you are talking of monetization of property or houses owned by some people to be auctioned, ask Ganduje now, ask him, Ganduje, the house in Miongo Road belongs to who? It belongs to government, but it was auctioned to him, but nobody has an eyebrow. His own house is a government-owned property, but it was given to him, and nobody is saying anything, because it was a residential area. And when a residential area is neglected and it was sold out to somebody to renovate and use it for accommodation, there's no problem in that. But when you demolish a school with admission, 2,000, 3,000, when you close down a hospital and give it to somebody with attendance of 1,000 people daily, then you are bad. You don't know what you are doing, and you are not meant to be in government. That's the answer to that question. And if you check on these houses that he's saying, this house is a policy that came up from government. I was a commissioner then. It is a policy which we said that, okay, let all our houses be auctioned to individuals. Officially, those occupying the house. Officially, those occupying the house. Go and ask the Kano State workers. How many of them are occupying houses? How many of them are occupying houses? But when you demolish a school, demolish it with admission, with students going on, take a lesson, check them out. When you close down a hostel with patients, you don't care what is said. Then what I'm trying to tell me.
Okay.
He can't even compare this. Had it been he went to school, he would have even been using as an example.
All right, let me bring in my colleagues from Lagos. They've got questions for you as well.
Timberland, Mr. Dogowa, perhaps one of the questions a number of people would want to ask is whether or not the government counted the costs or consider the implications of that decision before going ahead. Already, there's heavy looting, heavy stealing all over the place, especially in the light of the fact that of the announcement that the government made. And as you very well know, a host of suspects, 49 suspects have been arrested by the police. Do you think government thought through the possibility that that announcement made and that action could lead to the kind of unrest that has trailed it?
I would have loved you to... Can you hear me?
Well, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I would have loved you to ask your channel people here that are in Kano, the reaction of people whenever Governor Abba Kabir is out on the street of Kano. People are jubilating, people are happy, and you cannot rule out the possibility of having one errand boy when something is happening like that. You cannot rule out that possibility. If things are happening in Lagos, they are virtually, yes, it is like a kind of necessity. Sometimes something must happen. But by and large, the decision is a very good one. It was taken in the interest of the general public. It was taken to defend the good people of Kano State. It was taken to defend their property. Like now, Kano is one of the biggest cities that we have in Nigeria. In fact, probably in the olden days, it is the most...
Mr. Dogowa, while all that you're saying, is making a whole whole world of sense, if you can hear me, my apologies, just 1 second. Do you think, you're still not speaking to the question, there is a lot of looting going on, a lot of unrest going on. Just a second. A lot of unrest going on because government took that decision. There's been a lot of looting, which has resulted in the loss of valuables and goods and services, loss of business of a whole number of people who, occupied those places. Do you think it is something government factored in? If you say government factored these things in, is there any form of insurance or payback to those people who have suffered losses?
That's what I'm saying. I am telling you that maybe you are in Lagos, from what you are hearing may be different from what is happening actually on the ground here. You have your channel television station here in Kano. Ask them to go around, interview people and find out.
Are you then saying, by what you're saying now, if you can hear me, are you then saying that the Commissioner of Police was wrong when he said that 49 people have been arrested? And he also said that parents should advise their children and their wards to desist from looting people's property. If it wasn't happening, would the police commissioner in Kano State say that?
When President Tinubu came to Kano for campaign, more than 80 people were arrested with serious weapons. Do you understand it? But does that mean that the campaign was hijacked by these people? Kano is a very big city. Kano is a country. When you are counting 40 people that went berserk on something, you understand that the whole Kano is not peaceful. Kano, as at now, is peaceful. Go to any market, you will buy what you want. Everything is going on. But we are not unmindful of these patches of happenings, and we are taking necessary action against them. But by and large, this decision is in the interest of the people of Kano State, and people are happy with it. For your information, you have a station here in Kano.
Well,
ask them to go
if
around.
You can hear me, Mr. Dogowa, just a second. Yeah. Do you agree that businesses have suffered losses in Kano State as a result of this demolition?
Yeah, I do agree.
Good.
I do agree.
Is there any way in which, just a second, is there any way in which you think that the government of Kano State will be speaking to them to appeal to them or to even offer some kind of insurance for the losses they have suffered?
We are already speaking with the business community. We are advising them on what to do, and very surely they are taking our advice.
All right, Mr. Umar Dogowa, the chairman, NNPP, Kano State. This is a matter that will definitely get back to yourself, the team, and see what else is happening, because above all, there's got to be development. But I'm afraid we're out of time, Mr. Dogowa. Don't worry, we'll make some more time on this matter. So we thank you for coming on. Not to worry, we'll see. We'll reach out to you much later. I'm afraid we're out of time. We're out of time. Don't worry. Don't worry. We'll get back to you and make it happen. Don't worry. We can assure you on that one. All right. Thank you for coming on.